Hey y'all, Josh here today, aka the world's greatest dad. And what you're looking at here is the Chapin Chest Spreader. And today we're going to unbox this bad boy, take a detailed close look at it, fully test it out, and see if it might be something you need to pick up as well. So with that being said, let's get it. So let's go ahead and start from the beginning. When you pick this up, it's going to come in a box just like this. Let's get her opened up, see what we're working with. As you can see, this thing is pretty much ready to go right out of the box. The only other pieces that we have here are our hand crank we'll have to install, as well as our instruction book. So as we take a little closer look at our instruction book, the first thing I'll point out is that this product does come with a 2-year limited warranty. And as we open it up, you're going to see some assembly instructions to install our hand crank. Then we have our operating instructions along with some pictures. And on the last page, we have some spreader settings that show you how to set this up depending on what you're spreading. So let's go ahead and install our hand crank. First off, we're just going to go ahead and take this nut off here. And we'll slide this through this hole. After doing that, we're going to go ahead and put this nut back on. We're going to go ahead and get it as tight as we can. You can use a 14 mil crescent or just an adjustable one like this, and then we will go ahead and slide that in there, hand crank forward, and that will tighten this all the way up to the nut. Now the capacity of our hopper is going to be 680 cubic inches, and it claims that it can hold up to 10 pounds of grass seed. Let's go ahead and take a little closer look at some of the measurements. Now the unit itself is going to measure 19 inches tall by 10 inches wide and 10 inches thick. And our opening here has a nice wide mouth that's going to measure across 5.5 inches in diameter. Now when it comes to operating our Chapin Chest Spreader, we really have 4 different things here. We've got our spreader lever to adjust the opening of seed dispersion. We've got our gate control. We've got a side baffle, and we've got our hand crank. Now our spreader lever here is going to have 4 different adjustments, and this is going to be the adjustment to either open up how much seed we want to come out or close this all together. Now to adjust this, we're simply going to lift this up and move it over and then push it down. That's position 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now if we simply move this up, it will slide all the way back to the closed position. Now if we take a look at our instruction manual, you're going to see some different settings to set this depending on what you're spreading. So for granular fertilizer or other small products, it says slot 1 is best for fine products, slot 2 is good for coarse, and for grass seed it says fine grass seed slot 3 or coarse grass seed all the way up to slot 4. And we'll show you the different openings down there from the inside. This is the closed position. Position 1, which is going to be a 1/4 inch, 2, which is going to be a 1/2 inch, 3, 3/4 inch, and 4, a full inch. And while we're looking inside the hopper, you will see you have that nice metal agitator in there to break up larger clumps before they go through. Now our next adjustment here is going to be our gate control, and as you can see, that has several different positions. It can be controlled and moved. You simply just lift this up, get it to the position you want, and then it kind of falls into place there. Now the gate control moves this little piece way back here, and that's going to affect how far wide that we can actually spray this out. So we're on the all the way back setting right there, but as we start to move this forward, you'll see that adjustment where this piece moves closer here for a little closer spread. And our next adjustment is going to be our side baffle right here, which is going to affect how far this can spread this way. So if we want that to kind of cut off there, we'll move it all the way in. If we want a little further spray, we can go ahead and move that back. And finally, we have our hand crank. We'll just kind of show you some of the action on this. You're going to want to move this forward and kind of hear how it sounds as well as how it operates. And the last thing we'll check out here is our shoulder strap and handle. There is a little bit of padding around the shoulder, and you can either tighten or loosen right here. Then there's this little hand handle here, and that's got a little padding as well. So now that we know how this thing works, it's time to test it out. And what we're going to be doing on today's project is spreading some fall weed and feed on this grass that we planted about 2 or 3 months ago up here at this rental. So let's go ahead and get this thing filled up. Now, as far as capacity, we fit pretty much the whole bag of this product inside the hopper. This is 18.5 pounds of weed and feed, and I'd say I probably have about 1 pound left. So let's go ahead and put this thing on. Now, I've got this thing fully extended right now. I'm 6 foot, 220 pounds, and let's see how that looks. Yeah, definitely a little big, riding a little bit low, but that's good. So if you're really tall, you got a little room to work with this. Now, if I want to adjust this and tighten it, I can just go ahead and pull this right here to get it where I want. Right about there. Feels pretty good for both the hand crank as well as my support handle here as well. Now, although there's a lot of different spreader options out there, the reason that I like a chest spreader like this is it's going to be great when you're working on uneven ground. Here we've got ourselves a little hill, kind of just some other little obstacles that we've got to deal with. And if we were going to use like a push spreader like that, we might have a little bit of difficulties. Of course, we could use one of these little hand spreaders too, but the problem is we just don't have that much capacity. And this thing over here is just going to be a lot more comfortable. Now, our fertilizer is going to be kind of more of a coarse, thicker product. So when we look at that granular fertilizer, it says slot 2 is going to be best for that. So we'll go ahead and try that out first, see how it is, and see if we need to adjust it up to slot 3 or slot 4. So let's go ahead and move our spreader lever to position 2, have it locked in. We've got our gate adjustment all the way forward. Let's go ahead and see what that looks like as we start to hand crank this. Not bad. Let's go ahead and pull our gate adjustment all the way back. Let's take a look at that. So as you can see, that cuts off, so we're not spreading as much over on this side. And if we make another adjustment and move our side baffle in too, now we should have a much thinner spread. We'll go ahead and move our gate adjustment to about halfway. Let's take a look at that. And all the way back open. All right, let's get the spreading. One thing that I do like is even with my spreader lever in an open position, if I'm not hand cranking, I'm really not losing a lot out of the bottom. So you'll see here, I'll start cranking it, we disperse some, I stop, and I don't have a bunch dripping out. That didn't take us much time at all. We'll go ahead and lift this up, close that. It's easy to take this off using this little handle right here. Now, another nice thing about this with this wide mouth opening is obviously we didn't use everything today, but it's going to be real easy to transfer what we didn't use and put it back in the bag. Now, before I tested this thing out, I did read through a bunch of different reviews, and there's some certain things that I wanted to kind of cue in on when I did my test today. Now, first off, the first complaint that I saw was apparently there's some videos out there where you actually control your lever here right on this handle. Now, obviously on these newer versions of this Chapin, that isn't going to be the case, as this just has kind of foam padding, no control there, and your width control is going to be right there on that lever. Now, another thing that's been brought up is that this strap wasn't large enough for bigger people. Now, again, I'm 6 foot, 220 pounds. I used this and still had about that much room to go. So I think anywhere up to 250, maybe 6'4", 6'5", you should be all right. Of course, if you're really big wearing a size 3XL or 4XL, this thing might be a little snug on you. And the third thing that I saw that was discussed was some of the difficulty in the hand crank. Now, me personally, especially on this unit, I really didn't have any issues with this today. I thought that it worked just fine. So there you go. That's pretty much everything you need to know about the Chapin chest mounted spreader. So to close this video out, here's my 3 takeaways. Number 1, this thing's going to be perfect if you're working with small areas, thin areas, or places that you need to go up and down hills. I always like to use my regular push spreader, but there's certain situations where a spreader like this is just going to be so much better. Number 2, I appreciate the fact that this thing came pretty much pre-assembled right out of the box, and all we had to put on was our hand crank. And number 3, I love the fact that Chapin does provide a 2-year warranty with this, plus all of their customer service is USA based. So if you have any problems, get a hold of them and they're going to take care of you. So it's for those reasons and more, I'm going to go ahead and give this bad boy right here a world's greatest dad thumbs up, and I say, go out and get you one. Hey, one more thing before you go. I want to let you know that the Chapin company behind this spreader is a big fan of the world's greatest dad's in-depth and informational videos. Therefore, about a month ago, they reached out to me and asked me if they could send me this product for video review purposes. Now, with that being said, all the thoughts and opinions expressed in this video were my own, and I always do my best to accurately describe any product I review. Now, I hope this video helped you out. We'll see you next time.